Well, look, I don't know if my guest speaker is coming. So I don't want to make this a wash. So I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna ask around real quick. But Esther, um, I do have a question for you if you're available.
I'm here.
Okay. So you, I know last time we talked, you were working on stuff, but it seemed like now like you really exploded with like the different deals that you have gotten. And I know it's a lot of hard work in the backstory, like you always say. But what is different now than it was beforehand for you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we talking, it was what, September? But it seemed like a lot of things have changed with you and you're getting even more deals now. So what has changed? What is the, not saying pivot, but what has changed with you?
So my husband got more involved in the business, so that's changed. Um, I s- he started like I got involved in real estate about 4 years ago. My husband was always involved in real estate to a certain extent. But when he started like really seeing what I was doing and really like catching on, and I say like he caught the bug, he started asking me to send him the deals that I was circulating. And now he's my biggest client as a realtor. So he started actively purchasing, and a lot of those deals that I post, sold, closed, under contract. I don't even know all the details about the deal because he took it on. I sourced the deal, and then I hand it over to him, and I forget about it, and he takes it over. So like that last deal that closed, I don't even know a piece. It's too much sugar. A small piece. The last deal that I posted, I don't even know the details. Like he's like, oh, we closed on this today. I'm like, oh, cool, yay, hooray. No, I don't post every single deal actually because so much happening. But he just told me now we're going under contract on another deal. Like I was like, oh wow, really cool. So him and his team really took off. He partnered with somebody that has a lot of experience in the commercial real estate space. So that's been a massive success. Obviously, there are all those bumps. I'm very proud of you, sweetie. There are obviously all these bumps along the way. Fell out of contract, fell in contract. We lost 250,000 on one deal. We're in court on another deal. Like it's not everything is smooth riding, but yeah, that was the jump to my success. And my husband got involved, but I have a separate business that I do the equity. My husband's not involved on the equity side. He thinks I'm actually nuts that I raise equity. He's like, why are you bothering? We're doing our own deals. But I love it. So that's why I'm doing it. I have a private equity fund. I connect co-GPs and JVs. So I do that as a hobby, but it's gotten absolutely out of hand.
So man, that's great. So has it lessened the load on you, or is you got more responsibility than ever?
Well, I wasn't a buyer before then. So because he got involved, we started buying. But it hasn't changed my business because I was dealing with the equity before he actually got involved. So I was raising equity before. So I still do that. And if anything, it's gotten crazy because I was on bigger pockets, and that brought me so many people looking for money. Just in the last 2 days, I think I got another at least eight deals that are looking for money in the last 2 days. So it's very hard to keep up.
How do you like when you do get a deal? Do you underwrite it yourself? Like, how do you like bring security to your investors?
If it's a co-GP JV opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
then I do not underwrite the deal. I don't really evaluate it. No. If it's a LP opportunity that I'm raising through my fund, then yes, I do a lot of research on the opportunity. I vet the sponsors, I vet the deal, I underwrite the deal. I mean, I hired somebody to underwrite it. I hired a guy from Meridian. He underwrites their deals, so he helps me out. So we underwrite the deal, and then I will put my own money into every LP deal that I raise from, and then I go ahead and raise after I do a lot of research.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm only doing research on the LP deals
I'm
because then it's
surprised.
my responsibility.
Why not the GP deals?
Because it's not my responsibility to, because the GP deals and JV deals, those investors are going to underwrite it anyways themselves. Those are experienced people, they're in the business, they know the market really well. I present them the idea, if they like the property. Once I
Mhm.
have all my agreements in place, I connect them to the sponsor directly. They work it out. They're both active partners, so there's no security selling over there. It's not any liability on my end. They're both going to underwrite the deal anyway. Those are generally people that are coming in with larger size checks. 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. I'm working out 30 million and $40 million check. So those are people that are going to underwrite it regardless. They're going to do that on their own. So that's not my responsibility to underwrite it.
Got it.
Those are big checks.
Those are really big checks.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm working on several ground up multifamily deals right now that we're raising for. So there's a few hundred units. Yeah, so some of them are big checks.
Well, what I like about the ground up deals is that they offer a higher equity multiple and their IRRs are usually a little bit higher. But I passed on it because, no cash flow was coming for like 3 years.
On which deal?
Or any of the ground up deals.
Right. So someone has to be able to hold their money, their money for that long, right? Yeah, exactly. You have to know your ability, your risk tolerance and how long you can sit without that money for. So that's true. There are some ground ups though that will offer money right away, but then the money gets diluted because
Yeah.
they're distributing money that's not really there.
Do they overraise so that they can, give a preferred return?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how the heck did you get 27,000 followers?
The good. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I spend a lot of my time there. I post as much as I can, and I interact with other people's posts. So I try to, yeah, that's what COVID helped me.
No, that's awesome.
Now I'm trying to grow my Instagram account. That one's really slow,
Is it?
very slow.
Yeah, I think I have the same problem with Instagram. Does anybody else have lost following on here? Matt?
Just, no, I don't. I think I have 5 followers. I'm hanging my head in shame. No, actually, I need to up my social media game by a lot. So I need to research that and figure out how to do that on a more efficient, better level.
And I just opened a Facebook group today because Facebook maxes you at 5,000.
I joined.
Wow, you joined. Thank you so much. So I started that today because I want to have more than 5,000 people.
They max you out at 5,000.
Yes.
You see, you gotta have that problem to know that problem exists.
I went and started deleting like fake
You
followers.
deleted people?
Oh yeah, I deleted a bunch of fake followers and all the ones that would send me like garbage messages.
Yeah, I think that's a problem too with that, is that I've said this before to everybody. How many times have people asked you about real estate, or how many people have hit you on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook about crypto? I'm a crypto miner. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And it's like, dude, I'm doing real estate. It says real estate on there. Well, you get opportunity doing crypto. I'm like, okay. Like, does anybody else have that problem that everybody hits them up about crypto?
Well, it's crypto and other stuff too.
Well, you got to diversify just a little bit. Put a little money into crypto. If it blows up like crazy, you
Yeah,
win.
but I'm saying though, like everybody hits me up about it. Like I get messages all the time. Hey, are you interested in crypto? Are you interested? Like, okay, listen.
That's a perfect pitch to say, hey, you want to do some real estate with your crypto earnings?
That's kind of true. That's kind of true. What you think about it, Miss James? What you think about that?
Sounds good to me. You know, I'm still learning about this whole crypto and NFTs and how it all works. Hello, everybody, by the way. Leo coming in from, you know, the W2. We give thanks. But I'm still learning about how cryptocurrency works. But that sounds great to me. What I did hear, of course, we know, is that, you know, once you pull it, because it's so volatile, right? You don't know if it's going to lose value by the time you pull it out to put it into the market. So that's something else to consider, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Chantel, I know you on. I just saw you on here. So Esther was asking, like, what can she do to add to upgrade her, get her more followers on Instagram? If you got a moment to talk about that.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram is one of the hardest platforms to build, but I do have some tips for investors, because the one thing we don't want to be doing is we don't want to be, and I think it's funny because I have a lot of investors that come to me, and the biggest mistake that they make is they look at the numbers and not actually the people. So they want to build up the numbers and they're building them up, but not with the right people. So, I mean, if you're investing and there's only a small amount of people that can afford to invest with you, and you want to use social media to bring those people into your funnel, your target's going to be really small, right? So don't focus so much on the numbers, but the people that are going to invest with you on those platforms. So one is niching it down. So figure out who your avatar is and then how you're going to attract those avatars. And I always tell people too, that whatever your avatar, or, you know, if you're an investor, follow the podcast. Like, so if you're, you know, looking for people who are in tech, go to a tech podcast and then target their followers, because you know that their followers are going to be into tech. Right? Towards, if you're a lawyer, go to a podcast that talks about law and then follow those. You'll see that it will say in their bio that they're a lawyer. That's a way you can kind of target your avatars. But the one thing you don't want to do, and this is another big mistake that people make, is they think that if they just have that number, that people are going to want to follow them. So if I buy followers, people are going to want to follow me. But if you buy followers, even though you get people to follow you, your post or your message is going to get lost, because the way the algorithm works is not everyone, if you have 1,000 followers, not 1,000 people are going to see your message. So it goes on the algorithm. And the one thing you don't want is that your message to go out to a bot, because if that bot doesn't engage with you, then it's tell the algorithm that your post isn't good. Does that make sense? And then another big thing that people fail to do, and this is because I've niched it down to just investors and real estate agents. So I work a lot with multifamily investors. And the one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of investors are very, very, very busy. So some of my clients will go places, they'll go to events, and someone will say like, hey, I see you all over social media. I love your LinkedIn. I love this. I love that. But the thing that they're doing is they're not liking or commenting. So we have to think that people are super busy, and just because they're not liking or commenting doesn't mean they're not seeing our message. So how does the algorithm read that people that don't like and comment, that just scroll through, how do they know that they're interested in your post? The algorithm can still work when they scroll down. If they stop on your post more than like 3 seconds, that tells the algorithm that they're interested in what your post is, and then it will send them at the top of their feed. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Because
Sometimes,
literally this LinkedIn thing is kind of sort of crazy, especially if you got a full-time job and you're trying to like and comment on people's posts. But it seems as though it's working with the algorithms.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is though, is it's all a game, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just how are we going to beat the algorithm. So one trick that I use for LinkedIn and Instagram is that if someone likes my last post, I will go in and I will interact with those people. So if I, for Aaron, if I go in on his last post, I'll go look at everyone that liked that last post. And if they're people that we know, then I'll tag them in that post. But even if they're not, I will go in and I will like their last post and then I will leave a comment. And then what I would do, I will go in their like activities or see what they liked before, people that I'm not following, and I will go and like the 3 last things that they liked. And then that way I'm targeting people or I'm interacting with people that I'm not following. And I know that I'm doing that for sure. And I know that most of the time these people did the work, right? Like the people that I'm liking or I'm taking those likes off their page, that they've already done the work to like the post. So it's just a little strategy on how you could, and I think I just did a post. I should do it on LinkedIn. It's just a little strategy on how you can engage, like with a little bit of time, because what ends up happening is that some people are on so long, they're on social media, and then it's like a job, right? Like there's so many people that come to me and I look at their social media and I think that they're like making millions of dollars, and they're like, no, I'm a slave to social media. Like I'm a slave, right? Because they're trying to keep up. So one thing that I like to do in the morning, or when people take our course, what we tell them to do is just engage 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, and then engage 5 or 10 minutes in the afternoon, and then engage 5 or 10 minutes in the evening. If you do that 3 times a day, you will see that will make a big difference. What ends up happening is everyone engages in the morning, and some people only post in the morning. So if you only engage at the same time every day and not throughout the day, you're only hitting those people that are engaging, that are posting during the day. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense, because I have a cold and I babble on. Lee knows this.
Algorithms make
Oh.
sense to me.
Yeah, so it's really just about beating that algorithm, giving value. Like, so, people want to follow people if you can give them value, right? So one thing that we really want to make sure is that, we're not just posting for the sake of posting. If you can't give someone something where they can respond to, then don't post at all. Some people think like, I have to post every single day. You don't have to post every single day. You have to be consistent and you have to give value. So what we want is we want people to know who we are, what we do, and where we're going. Those are the things that people need to know. And we have to use, sorry, go on.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, but we have to remember that, this is a tool. Like, this is a tool that we're using for our business. It is not our business. We are not in the business of social media, or sometimes, entertainers, or what I like to call people almost famous. Like, you'll see people that they're come to us and they're like, how can I grow my following? I'm doing all this. My husband's getting mad because I'm always on Instagram. I'm like, well, maybe you should start by getting off of Instagram. Or these platforms, because now you don't have anything to sell. You did a video that went viral, but you're not going to make money because you don't have a business, but you just like the likes and the comments of people, because you're like, one girl, she has a fashion, like she teaches women how to dress, but she didn't have a business. And I said, if you're not going to set up a business where you can, coach people or do makeovers or something like that, then you're really working for Instagram. I had another girl she had a deal with Sephora to do makeup, where they gave her $1,000 a month and a bunch of free makeup, and then she was getting sponsors for like hair things and all this. But at the end of the day, she was making about $1,000 a month, and she had to do all these posts for Sephora. And I was like, dude, like, why don't you just go get a job? Like, $1,000 a month isn't even a lot of money. And what does she do now? She started her own makeup company, like where she does makeup, and she doesn't even work for Sephora anymore. But so many people get caught up in that following, because she had 100,000 followers. She got it because she was sponsored by Sephora, but she wasn't really making any money off of it. I don't know. I think I'm getting off track there. But the thing is, though, is that we don't want to work for these platforms. We want them to work for us. So how are we going to do that? Is one, the most important thing is getting people off of these platforms. So into your email list. So now you have more control. You're not going to get shadow banned. You're not, if Instagram goes somewhere, you're still going to have all your contacts. If And when you send out an email, it's less competition, because we have to think people are constantly scrolling. You know, people put out all these videos, but really, when you think about it, how many videos do you watch on Instagram or social media a day? How many posts do you really take in a day? So we have to think that there's a lot of people that are just scrolling through. I'm like moving here. I'm just kind of like scrolling through, right? But they're just scrolling and just liking. They're not really taking in what we're giving. So we have to keep that in mind. And just remember, it is not your business. It's just a part of your business. And if we're not getting people off these social media platforms, then we're really just working for these social medias. And that's what Instagram and LinkedIn and all these people want. They want us to keep people on, when our goal should always be to get people off, whether that's in a conversation, on an email list, something in our DMs. We have to build relationships, and we have to use these platforms just like when you go to a meetup. You know, you go to a meetup, you go there to interact with people, you go to engage with people. If we just put on posts and we're not taking these relationships to the next level, then really we're just, you know, almost famous or working for these platforms.
You're wasting damn time.
Yes, you're wasting time. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, it's such a, and I think I'm the worst social media manager ever, because I really teach people how to get off of social media.
Because
Like,
social media is a form of advertising to bring people within your circle, right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people spending a lot of money at all of these conferences and doing all of these things, and I'm like, well, how many deals have you done?
Yeah.
How many deals have you done? That's what matters. How much money is coming in?
Yeah. Well, I've dealt with a lot of like one of my clients, like I was on a podcast with one of my clients, and from there I got a lot of multifamily investors like contacted me, and I did some coaching, and there was a lot of them. And it's funny because I have one client that when we started, he didn't have a lot of following, but he was making the biggest deals. Like, he's by far the biggest client I have. So here's someone who doesn't have, you know, that big of a social media presence, but is killing it in the game of investing. They don't have other people that are killing it on the social media platform, but are making no deals. And I had to say this, like, where would you rather be? Would you rather have this 100,000 followers and have no deals, or yourself, right? So we have to think about, where do you want to be? Like, what success do you want? Because some people think, you know, people knowing who you are makes you successful. No, it just makes people know who you are, right? So we can't just compare and think that, and very rarely do a lot of these big people that have these big followings, one, a lot of them have bought followers. Two, a lot of them can't filter through. If you look at their likes and their followers, they're like modders or people that own fancy cars. They're not investors. So now they have to try to filter out through all these hundreds of thousands of followers of people that can't even afford to invest with them. So you really have to figure out what it is that you want, what your niche is, how big your niche is, and then how you're going to navigate these platforms. Because, you know, we look at it and it's like, oh, well, this person says you have to do this many reels, and Instagram says you have to do this, and Instagram says you have to do that. When we're all different, we have different businesses. So we niche it down to investors, real estate agents, and fitness people. My fitness people, we teach them way different than we teach our real estate and investors, right? Because they're totally two different niches.
Hold on. And then you hire Chantel to do social media. That's how we drop the mic.
Yeah, and then you hire Chantel. Yeah. But yeah, I could go all day. Anyone who listens to me, I'm very passionate about what I do. You can check out my Instagram or check out my on my Instagram. I have tons. I just devote my Instagram just to giving people tips and tricks on how to be successful on social media.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
So my question is, I have a personal Instagram page, and then I have a new Instagram page that I've just created for the professional property management, real estate, you know, networking, etc. And so I'm going back and forth as to whether I should just dissolve the professional Instagram and just work build from my personal page, or if I should just let my personal page remain the personal page because it's private. And I'm a dynamic individual, right? And that means that there is the side of me that is the creative, the artist, the traveler, etc. And so that shows up on my personal page. And then now that I'm a new, so a little background on me, new investor, new to the real estate space. So I don't know how people would take okay, I'm sorry, my text message is coming on my laptop. Don't know how folks may interpret okay, she's investing, she's doing real estate, but then she's also dancing on the beach in Thailand. Like, I'm trying to understand what's happening. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I created the professional. So as the expert, should I build on the professional page, or should I figure out how to retweak my personal page and just, now I'm going to have to be more strategic with the things that I'm posting? What's your feedback on that?
So I think that, how many people do you have on your personal page, if you don't mind me asking?
About 800.
Okay, so is that mostly like, well, obviously I'm assuming it would be all family and friends. That's a lot.
And artists, and yeah.
So what is your goal? Is your goal on social media, on your business page, your goal would obviously be to try to get some investors, right?
Yes, investors, as well as property management for other folks in addition to myself. Yeah.
Okay, so then I would just I would do a new business page. I would still, bring some of your dancing and stuff like that to your business page, because people want to know you on a personal level, right? Like, people buy from people. But I would start from scratch. And even though it's going to be really hard, at least you know that you're targeting the right kind of people. So, I mean, if you want to sit down with a call, I can show you how to do that. I just started an investment page with someone the end of August, and we just reached 1,000 followers on Instagram. So it is possible, and it's all investors, and then tech, because he's a tech guy. So it's all either investors, brokers, or tech, like people within his niche or within his circle that he wants. So it is possible. And like I said, when you're starting out, I just go to podcasts, like people who have big followings. Look at the people that are engaging, the people that are liking those posts. The one thing we don't want to do is what people do is they just go on to people's following, and then there's follow everyone. Oh, I'm gonna follow everyone. What ends up happening is there's ghost followers. So then you end up with people that are off, that just maybe forgot their password, and then they're not on Instagram, or you get the bots. And those are the kind of people we don't want to be following. So if you go to someone's someone that is similar or within your niche, if you go to the people that like their stuff, then well, wait a minute, this person is an investor, this person is talking about investing, and this person liked it, they're probably going to like what I have to show too. So then you go in there and you start following those people. Does that make sense? And I always find when I started Instagram from scratch, that's how I build them, no matter what it is. I always go off of a podcaster, because it's so easy, because whatever their topic is, people want to listen, and then you're finding people within that niche.
Makes total sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chantel, don't they have bots that do likes and stuff like that?
They used to have automation that would do likes. Well, they did have an automation that would like for you, but when you do the automation that's liking, it's just bots, right? So even though you get sometimes you'll see someone and they'll have 100 likes or 5,000 likes, and then you go to their likes, and then you'll see that it's a lot of East Indians or small little kids. Those are all bots.
Got it.
Yeah, so we want to avoid that stuff. And the one thing that there's two things I get the most DMs on. One, people that lose their accounts. So this is what you never want to do on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You never want to answer DM from someone you don't know. And if it's someone that you know that's asking you a question, always ask them a personal question. So if someone's like, hey, Esther, I forgot my Instagram, or I need you to send me this text, then you'll say, hey, when's the last time I seen you? Or, just something that person would know, because what ends up happening is you get clicked and then someone steals your account. So, and the other thing that I always get is that people lose their accounts because they buy bots. So Instagram does like these random audits. And so if you buy bots or buy followers and you follow along that random audit within that month. So if I buy bots and just say 3 months down the road, Instagram audits my account, they're not going to see that I bought bots 3 months ago. But if I buy bots today and I get that random audit tomorrow, then Instagram's going to see that I bought those bots. And that is 100% against their rules. So they will delete your account and you will not get it back. So every time you buy followers or you buy bots, you're taking that risk. Because I got tons of accounts back, but I could not get an account back if they buy bots.
Hey,
Yeah, but if your account gets hacked, it is a process, but you can get your account back. Some people, they just give up, but if your account gets hacked, it's a process, but you can definitely get it back.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Mr.
Sean.
International.
I got a question, right? You said something very interesting because before, yes, LinkedIn become a job within itself, right? Because you can stay up there strolling through, because I'm not gonna just like people's stuff. I need to read it to understand it, right? So now you said it's about 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. So you're talking about 15 minutes just to re-go through stuff and like it, or just what are you talking about there? I'm just,
What I do, because we have so many accounts, and so
Okay.
when we take over someone's account, we do tell people like, hey, we're kind of like a filler for your engagement. So what we do is we're just going to go like we skim through it, what people will do is they'll give us a list of people so that we know that those people we're going to engage with. So whether you want to be on a big account or something like that, you give us a list of people, we make sure we're always engaging with those people. But yeah, so we do 15 to 10 minutes in the morning. So what you would do is just go through, and even if you're just like, I'm going to comment on 10, so go through your list, and then pick 10 that you're going to comment on. And then in the afternoon, go through your list and only pick 10 that are going to give you good value, and then like the other ones until you get to that 10. And then just do that, because what ends up happening is if we don't put timelines on ourselves, we will be there, and then an hour later, you're like, what did I just watch? And that's what we want to avoid, but that's what social media wants, right? And that's why there's an algorithm, and why they put the stuff that they think you're going to like at the top and the things you're not going to like at the bottom. And that's why the algorithm is there, because the more things you like, the more you stay on.
So another question, right? Speak about what's at the top versus the bottom. When you open it up, how do you get to the most, like when it says most relevant, like the post is just recent. How do you align it so the posts come up? Like is that possible?
So on LinkedIn or
Yes. I can do one thing at a time.
Yeah. So on LinkedIn, I don't really know. What I do on LinkedIn is I usually will sometimes go to hashtags, and then I will go to most recent instead of just sort of for the highest. I will always go to most recent and do it that way. I've never really, I don't know, maybe someone else. When I go on LinkedIn, I usually just have my list and I kind of just scroll through and I know who I need to engage with. LinkedIn is a little bit more trickier.
So now, see, this brings up more. You open the box up some more, right? So you said you go through a list. So what list is that? Like, let's say I'm your client.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
What list should I get? What list am I giving you that you're going through?
So you would be like, okay, I want to make sure that I comment on Aaron's. I want to make sure that I comment on Lee's. So you give me a list of people. And then sometimes there are people that are your friends that you want to boost their engagement. And then there's people that maybe you want to know, like maybe Esther. I know Esther too, because I deal with a lot of multifamily. So I see her a lot on social media. So I know that she would be a big person in the female multifamily. So maybe if I was another female, I would say hey, I want to get to know her. I want her to be my mentor, whatever. So make sure that she knows who I am. So I will leave a nice personal comment on her post.
Okay.
And not I wouldn't just leave hey, this is a great post. I love the topic of, I would say you'd say something a little bit more personal. Okay. Hey, Esther, I read when you were on this podcast, I love when you talked about this. So now she knows, wait a minute, that was the middle of the podcast. You must have listened to this podcast.
Okay. So I was trying to get the list and the thing, because you're right. I can speak for me. I get lost to LinkedIn for 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Hours is like, what happened here? Right? Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much. That's very helpful.
So it's just really just putting out a time and then just having, putting out a time 3 times a day, having a list, and then just using that because we could be on it all day long.
But you are on it all day long.
I
And you
am
passion-
not on it all day long. I'm on it I do other things like I sent a nice email out for Erin today. We do other things, but yeah, I'm on Instagram a lot. And so I kind of know how to navigate it because we have lots of different clients. And I don't want to waste my time because my time people are paying me for it. So I just can't get caught up in Erin's Instagram and then, 5 hours later I have to do someone else's.
Wow.
Hey, Esther, did that answer your question about Instagram originally? Okay, she must be off.
Hey, Chantel, thanks for the masterclass.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
she got more tricks
Yes.
in the bag. So y'all want to have a conversation with her? Please go on her Calendly link.
The biggest thing about Chantel is every time I hear her talk about it, she's like excited. It's like we feel like she's mastered this and are you ready to go? But I like what you said about podcasters and their followers. Do you go onto the podcasting platform or?
No, I'll just go on. What I will do, in multifamily, I know the top podcasters, right? Because that's my niche. If I have someone that's not in multifamily, then what I'll do is I'll Google the top podcasts within that niche.
Mm-hmm. And then
So for instance, I have someone who wants to be on, he's a podcaster. He wants to be on other podcasts. So for business. So what I did today is I went and I looked at the top business podcast, and then I'll try to find those people on social media. And the thing is, though, is sometimes they have like a huge podcast following, but they don't have a huge Instagram following.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to target someone that way too.
We're going to send you another email because, wow, you're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Matt, you got any questions like that?
How do I learn more?
Well,
You can.
we do coaching, and I do a course, and I try not to do my course. I only try to do 2 people every 2 weeks. But what I am doing is I'm doing a course where I'm going to be recording it because we just have so many people that we're booking months in advance now. But like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, I do a lot of tips and stuff. I've been on a
Okay.
couple.
So I'm not on Instagram.
Okay.
How do you
I have
spell that again? No, I'm just kidding. So I keep telling myself that I have to get more on social media. I have to get onto LinkedIn, make a 2 or 3 or 4 times a week comment on something and like something.
Matt, stop right there.
Yes.
You're talking about your how. You got to find your who, and that who will take care of all of that for you. It seems as though something that you don't want to do, Chantel would do it for you. That's your who. Find your who, not the how. The how will make you procrastinate.
Yep. Okay.
Chantel, put your information in the chat.
Yeah. I'll join Instagram just to.
I'm trying to think. I recently changed my Instagram handle. Look at me. I don't want to. I want to put my name in. I have a cold too, so maybe.
I can put it in there for you.
Okay, you know what it is. I wasn't sure because I have a business account too. I wasn't sure if I put Chantel at Design by Telly or if it was just Design by Telly. But it's just Design by Telly, and then that's my handle. And then my website is just designbytelly.com.
I got it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
Sorry, I have a
Raptor shirt that you have on?
yeah. Toronto. It's not mine. I asked my son. Sorry, guys, I have a cold allergy. I asked my son to bring me a hoodie, and this is what he brought me because I was just.
I see you representing. Go ahead.
But one thing that we do too, just to keep in mind from that, is that we do have something where we will start someone's Instagram too. We always do encourage people to go through our coaching or our course first, so that way you kind of know, because if anything happens, we want to make sure that you know how to navigate these platforms on your own. And Aaron was one that went through a course, and then after he was like, did it on his own, he was like, no, Chantel, I can't. But Aaron can tell you that, he's come a long way in what we do. Like, we do more than just social media. So we write blogs, we write articles, we write newsletters, we send out emails, we write deal alerts. Like, there's a lot of things that we do that are outside of social media. So what we do is we do mostly branding, but social media is a big part of that. And so sometimes our social media is really what sells us, and not so much the other parts. But at the end of the day, our goal is to always get people to your websites or into your funnel.
So her information is in the chat. Her website and her Instagram is in the chat. So if
Thank you.
anyone wants to contact her and talk to her or get a consultation with her, there you go. So
Thank you. Fantastic amount of information. Much appreciated.
And also you can go to my YouTube page, and she's a guest speaker in December, and she talked a lot about this as well. And speaking of that, next week, Mr. Lee Johnson will be my guest speaker. So really excited about Lee being the guest speaker. So
I'm coming with it, brother.
that
You
means
gotta
you
be-
that
you
means
have to
you
be
on screen
next
too,
week.
Lawrence. That means you can be on screen.
Just make sure he eats before he comes on, because he has to eat and you got to get settled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotta get settled. And I'm coming with quotes too, laddie.
I'm at my book open. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah. You got him excited when you say quotes. You got him excited when you say quotes. That's
Oh, we should call him not Mr. International, Lawrence Quote Laddie.
Oh,
Yeah.
aye.
Lawrence Inspirational. That's-
You
changing your name, Mr. Inspirational.
that's a great, and quotes are so easy for content. So you could just always do a quote of the day. And I bet you people would just love it. They would look forward to your quotes of the day.
So
Chantel,
Lawrence,
I'm doing that
Lawrence,
too.
this is recorded. So can you tell everybody about?
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
You know what? You probably want to beat me in the head the other day after the meetup. I said, "Oh, I forgot to still talk about it."
Go ahead, man. It's recorded. Go
So-
ahead, man.
So this week, in 2 weeks, I'm having my Mastermind Dinner Series. We're starting in Miami and working with the East Coast. April 2nd, I'll be in Miami. I'll put the link, the invitation for those who can make it to Miami. I'll put the invitation in the chat here. Also, then in July, I'm going to be up in Charlotte. And in September, we're going to be up in the DC area. And we're going to end the Mastermind / networking dinner series in New York City. Those who I'll be sending invitations. I'll be doing better than I did this time around, because it's something new. My head is spinning, my stomach is flipping. I'm being truthful, I'm being open. It's like, something I can't control. It's not here, right? But I'm sure if you can make it, that'd be great. If you can't, I can understand. But I'll put the information in the chat. That's it.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
there. I'll be there in DC. First one to sign up, brother.
All right.
But give me the link.
Yes, sir.
So
That's what I said to Lee. I said, I see you in DC and New York.
there you go. There you go, Lawrence. See, there you go, man. There you go.
What Lawrence told me when I first joined this group, a closed mouth
Don't
doesn't
get
get
fed. Oh, he got that from me, because I always use that all the time on his. I always say that. I must say this too. I wanted to do a dinner series here in the Seattle region, but I'm going to table that because I'm working on a bigger project, and that needs more of my attention. So in the next couple weeks, once I get some, put more things in place, I'll be talking about this, but I have a big project I'm working on that's gonna help a lot of veterans out. So there's more to come. Chantel, I just got Edmund now as a guest speaker. I mean, as another person on here, along with Jim Biggs, along with Daryl Murphy, Alicia Milton, TJ, Tamara Jones. So I have an array of people that's gonna be joining. So once the more I get some more verifications, I definitely show out to everybody, and we definitely want to get this thing rolling. So more information.
But you guys probably know better than me since you have an outreach. But I'm looking for, people who do acquisitions. Nobody really talks about, if they are a buyer, broker, or any of those things. So if you guys know somebody, I would like to connect with them and figure out the process to get more pipeline.
Hey, Cinto.
Hey.
So when are you gonna be a guest speaker one time?
His camera doesn't work.
You were setting me up for that one, weren't you, Aaron?
I'm for real. Cinto. I'm for real.
What am I a subject matter expert on?
All things Cinto. What's your life?
No, Cinto can do.
When things go wrong in a rehab.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
We could probably
Right,
talk
Cinto?
about them. I could
You
probably talk
probably
about
could.
them.
I think you could. Right?
No, you can say HGTV ain't all that it's meant to be.
I
What
will
heard
be.
when I first met.
I will be. If I were to ever build my platform on something, it would be the most anti-HGTV person. and I think I could build a platform on that, but there are some of my friends who are actually casting directors on HGTV, so I gotta walk a fine line. So
Hey, call truth the truth, right? People will come if you give them truth.
Right.
I mean, how many people do we know in this world that, quote unquote, they say they walk the fine line, but they're playing both sides of the fence?
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people like that.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
Hey, you Lisa,
Yeah.
are you here? You Lisa?
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm well.
How you, Lisa? How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. Good to see you. Good to hear you.
Lisa, do you want to join me on this anti-HGTV crusade?
I will respectfully decline. However, we probably can partnership and talk about bad contractors.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a chapter in my book.
I like that. I like that. So, Lisa, can you introduce yourself to everybody before we get out of here?
Okay, you Lisa here. I'm in the Oklahoma area. My home is Louisiana. I own small property, a small portfolio. I'm looking to expand, and I'm in the process of building a trade skills ministry in one of my backyards to work with preteens and young adults on basic foundation, framing, electrical work, and plumbing.
What did you do prior to coming to Oklahoma?
I'm a veteran.
Okay, there you go.
Army veteran.
Okay, there you go. I was waiting for you to say that one.
Army, Air Force.
Hey, she's Army. She Army. Yeah, she Army.
Yes.
So, Lisa, I definitely can talk to you about my project as well. So we can send me your information, send me your number. We can definitely talk about it offline.
Okay.
So look, guys, I just want to say thank you. Sorry, we work on getting the guest speaker rescheduled for another time, but thank you very much. Like I said, next week is Lee Johnson. He will be the guest speaker. All right, Esther, thank you so much for
Right, Esther.
coming. And I definitely want to get you back on the meetup as well at some point down the road. Robert, man, I'll say this, man. My son was very anti St. Peter's because they got a peacock as a mascot. So he's like, what are they gonna do, Dad? How they gonna beat somebody? I said they're gonna peck him to death. He said, oh, okay. I'm like, it's a basketball, yo. It's not a mascots fighting the mascots. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
I hate the name too, so.
well, it kind of goes St. Peter Peacocks, you know what I'm saying? So hey, you know.
You could have been the St. Peter's Knights or St. Peter's Warriors or.
Isn't there a Peahens? Isn't that a mascot for some team?
Peahens?
Peahens.
Never heard of
No.
that.
I never heard of that before.
A peahen is the female version of a peacock.
Right.
Everyone thinks-
Oh,
Everyone thinks a peacock is a female, and the peacock is, I only know this because the peacock is the national bird of India.
How the hell did you know
Cool.
that? Because that's like a Jeopardy question that the people who've been
Well,
on.
well, Lee, no, Lee. So when I was trying to, catfish you all and everyone and every other meetup, and when I'm trying to build this fake profile of mine, I had to look up. Well, this is going to be sexy Indian guy, picture number 2. So when I looked up India and Indian, I had to look up the national bird, the national food, the spices. And I was like, okay, which tribe am I going with? Red dot or red feather? I'm like, oh yeah, this is the red dot one.
all right. Okay, look, hey, hold on. Let's end the meetup. Let's go to the after party. So,
Because that's gonna be, you can edit that out.
I'm gonna keep that actually. So you guys learned something today. So God, see you guys later. God bless you. See you next week.